This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello and welcome to the 242nd edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast entitled Meanwhile. Yes, meanwhile, meaning that, no matter what is going on, no matter what the big ticket item is every day, no matter what the thing is that you go, oh, really? What's going on today? Really? They're going to do this and the ICE did that, and they're blowing up people in Chicago. They were throwing shit at them, and there was a bullet shot, but we don't know if there was really, but it appears that it came from a black car, and they're going to find that car. But meanwhile, they took an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old in, and I'm sure that they're major. But meanwhile, behind all of that, other shit is occurring, and it occurs like that every day. It's beyond belief. You don't even have to mention a name anymore. You certainly don't have to mention his name. Because he just continues to roll along because he is in charge, and he is in charge because many people wanted a TV show, and that's what they fucking got, where it changes every fucking day, and it's commercials galore. That's right, where the rich people come in and go, yeah, boy, we made $1 trillion. Who did? Musk! Yeah, because he's done so well with the Tesla and the SpaceX, and now he's going to give us artificial intelligence. So the company said, yeah, give him $1 trillion. Well, people can't get SNAP benefits. And sure, why not? Just shove it in their face, because meanwhile, they can't get the benefits. But boy, he's got $1 trillion, and that could happen to anybody at any minute. So why are people complaining? It's all one big fucking lottery, and they could win any day of the week, and that's what could happen, you know? It could really happen to every person in America, the lowest of the low, to someone who's in the middle, to somebody who's almost doing really well, to someone who is doing well. But they can, he was, and then you can get to $1 trillion. Everybody can, and that's what makes this country great. It isn't what makes this country great. Okay, what makes this country great is its people. Son of a bitch, we have to go through this? Huh? He gets $1 trillion. Meanwhile, that he gets $1 trillion, and the president, it wasn't going to pay the full SNAP benefits because we don't really have the money because we got money for other things. We're going to blow up boats. Meanwhile, we're blowing up boats on a daily basis. But wait, let me finish here. He's then he said he was going to pay him, and then he said, "Wait a minute." The court came out and said you have to pay him, and as soon as the court said that, fuck the court. We'll take it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, "Well, we're going to have to hold on for a while for what? Huh?" Meanwhile, there are people waiting online to get food who've never done it in their lives. In the greatest country on earth. Fuck you. Okay? Son of a bitch. And I'd hate to bring this up again. But meanwhile, we're blowing up boats on a daily basis coming out of Venezuela, and we're going to attack Venezuela meanwhile. As soon as we can get these boats, knock them out, you just see those pictures, and they're in black and white and grainy, and who even knows if they're real? And does anybody check? Does anybody ask? If they really are coming through, are they really getting, do they really have drugs on them? Huh? Well, they're bringing all that fentanyl out of Venezuela, but apparently they don't have fentanyl in Venezuela. Okay? They barely have a fucking economy based on the, oil. Sorry about that. I burped. Okay? I apologize. They're based on oil. Okay? And it's not enough anymore, and it's not propping them up, and they got an idiot in charge. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. So you're going to go after him because he's an idiot and a prick? Meanwhile, Adelita Grijalva, I think that's how you pronounce it. There's a Spanish way and an English way, and I may have ended up in between, and I apologize. But Adelita, I believe, is correct. Grijalva is a little difficult. And I should be able to get it correct because she's being screwed. Why is she being screwed? Because she won an election to the House of Representatives of the United States Congress. And Mike Johnson, is the moron, the leader of the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House. God, he is not opening Congress, and he says he can't, since he's not opening Congress, he can't swear her in. So, but this is totally bullshit, because you could actually swear in without opening Congress, and they've done that before, time and again, in memoriam. But nope, he's not going to do it. And the reason they say he's not, I don't give a shit what the reason is. Okay, you do it because you want. You do it because the folks there need to be represented, even if she's just kind of wandering up and down the steps, hoping to get to her office. Because she can't get to her office because they're not meeting. Maybe she can get to her office. They should let her in her fucking office, and they should fucking swear her in. Okay? It's kind of shit. Meanwhile, she doesn't get in. Meanwhile, every day she doesn't get in. And she's got to appear on TV shows to go, how come I'm not getting in? What the fuck is that waste of time? That's what you need a representative doing from Arizona? Huh? Son of a bitch. It's just extraordinary. It's one thing after another. Meanwhile. And meanwhile, he thinks that the new stadium they're building for the Commodes in Washington should be named after him. I mean, can't remember in recent times any president, anyone at all, maybe way back when. I don't think there has been one in my lifetime or before who has said, I need this named after me. They don't do it. You don't do it. Why? Because it shows, what's the word? Hubris. Okay? Overweening pride, as I learned in my drama class. All right? It shows an arrogance of entitlement that is beyond belief, that you talk about in other people, that you seem to see in other people. This is beyond, no, you don't get to do that. All right? And as soon as you do, everybody has to stand up and go, no, that's not going to happen. You don't get to do that. Why? Because you haven't been around long enough, all right? You didn't go to any games. Maybe you went to one, all right? But no, that team is snake bit enough. It doesn't need the name of that stadium, cannot be named after you, all right? Shouldn't be named, after a president. It was Robert Kennedy Jr. was named after, okay? So maybe we should, after Pam Bondi, if you're going to name it after somebody, God damn it. And the shit just keeps on flying. And meanwhile, okay, this totally slipped. This occurred in September. The Securities and Exchange Commission this week dropped civil enforcement cases that could have led to penalties totaling hundreds of millions of dollars, which might have meanwhile paid off his suit against the Justice Department. If he's filed suit, he feels that they owe him $230 million because they were so mean to him, and they came at him, and none of these cases had any justification whatsoever. And boy, oh boy, he needs that money. But who decides? He's not the fucking judge. All right? You want to do it? Take it to court with all the other cases you got there. Son of a bitch, I said you don't mention his name, and then I'm mentioning it. Because I guess I should have cleared things with myself. But I wanted to get this done. I need to get it out there. I'm flying to Indianapolis tomorrow. If I can get on a plane. Because you see, there's all of these guys who are air traffic controllers, probably one of the most horrible, tense, excruciating jobs on earth. It takes a special kind of person to do that, especially when they're not getting paid. Okay? And they're not showing up, some of them, because they're fucking being broken, because they don't have enough money to pay for certain things. And they're worried about their children at home. Some of them are. Others are taking second jobs. Okay? We're just putting ourselves in danger so that there can be a shutdown. What the fuck is the matter with us? All right? Okay? There ought to be people standing in front of Congress. I've said it last week. I'll say it again. With microphones in their hands, talking, we have to get back together. We have to get back together. We have to go inside there. Whether Mr. Johnson or not, like whether any of them believe it or not. Get in there and fucking figure it out. It's not difficult. All right? Tit for tat, or however you want to fucking figure it out. Okay? Jesus. So I've got to get there early tomorrow, earlier than I would, to fly to Indiana. Who knows if I can fly to Indiana? Huh? Who knows if the plane's going to leave? They say the plane's going to leave, but they're saying it's this time in advance. I just got a thing from Kathleen. They canceled her flight. Are you shitting me? And I'm going to Indianapolis. All right. And Mike Pence is from Indianapolis. So maybe they have decided not to fly to Indiana because Mike Pence is there. And boy, Mike Pence didn't do what he was supposed to do, or he whose name I haven't spoken would have been elected the president, and that, because he would have cracked the code, and things would be great now because he would have been president already twice in a row. Oh boy. And then we could be moving on now. Oh man. And who knows who would be the president? The Security and Exchange Commission this week dropped civil enforcement cases that would have led to penalties totaling hundreds of millions of dollars against 3 men who were previously granted clemency by President Trump. Devin Archer, who was convicted in connection with a scheme targeting pension funds and a Native American tribal entity, was ordered to pay nearly $60 million in forfeiture and restitution. Trevor Milton was found guilty of lying about the supposed technical achievements of his electric truck maker, Nikola. Prosecutors recommended that he pay more than $660 million back to shareholders. And Carlos Watson, who was convicted of defrauding investors in his digital media company, OZY Media, was assessed penalties of nearly $97 million. All were spared from serving prison time and paying the overwhelming majority of their criminal restitution. Wow. In connection with a scheme targeting pension funds and a Native American tribal entity. What does it take? Huh? What level of greed? And you go, yeah, no, let him go. Yeah, we don't need that money. Son of a bitch. And meanwhile, my city went to the polls and elected a Democratic socialist. Okay? And what does that mean? We'll find out because we don't know. There's certain things that he wants. Is he going to get them? We'll have to see. But he whose name should not be mentioned, he said, boy, he got selected. I'm going to come right at him and just, I'm going to tear him a new asshole. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to take that city to task. No, fuck you for threatening people. Fuck you for threatening us, for voting. Okay? For whoever the hell we wanted. Okay? And then you say it's going to be a communist regime here. Because you know what? You don't understand what communism is at all. All right? Son of a bitch. You don't have any idea a communist regime. Are you crazy? Just get it straight. But there's stuff, you don't agree with it, just say it. This isn't what I think will work. All right? I don't think it'll work in New York. I'm not, that's what he's, don't paint it with a red paintbrush because it's not. It's something else. And it doesn't mean, that's, basically the city of New York is saying, that's for every action, sir, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that's the equal and opposite reaction. And it's time kids took over. And they want to try it. Son of a bitch. It's high time we tried it, especially during my lifetime. Do I think it's going to work? I'm not sure. I think he's too young to pull it off, but we'll see. But at least he's putting the word out there. Okay? And that doesn't make me some sort of rabid, radical fucking leftist with my hair on fire. All right? It's legitimate. Countries actually do it. Countries actually try to work that way. All right? They try to figure out ways in which government can help. And when government helps, it doesn't mean the world is ending. It means that we have to provide for our citizens. Why? Because we got a ton of money. A ton. And that's about all I really have to say today. Okay? We'll see what happens with Mom Donnie Zoran. We'll see what happens. Is it the end of the world? No. Okay? You're not going to suffer, sir. Nope. You're too busy building a giant ballroom. It's all going to be gold ornate. And then you put a big gold ornate Oval Office thing. Gold script in front of the Oval Office. So the people wouldn't miss it. Come on, stop it. While people are starving, really. And they had a Gatsby party, apparently, down at Mar-a-Lago that he was at. And I'm sure to fuck he never read Gatsby. And that's where we'll end. Okay? Well, let's see if we've got something here we should read. I'll leave you with this to give you a sense of the confusion we're living in. Meanwhile, the conference on censorship at Utah's Weber State University has been canceled amid allegations of censorship. According to Professor Richard Price, a scheduled speaker, Weber State Vice President Jessica Euler emailed him in advance to demand he not discuss legislation or policies in ways that take a side. After talking with Price and other speakers, organizers canceled the event, saying they could no longer deliver the experience our community expects and deserves. They told them couldn't take sides, couldn't say what they wanted to say. Is that as confusing as anything could be? Well, that's what I leave you with, in hopes that my plane takes off tomorrow and that I get to come back here, because I head to Washington soon, and I want to get down there for the Love You Project, which deals with mental illness, which I'm just teetering on right now. So I want to wish you all a great week. I hope your fantasy football teams come through for you, and that your real teams do the job that needs to be done, and that all goes well for each and every one of you. No matter what your beliefs, really, at this point. Maybe if we all have something really good happen this week, we'll calm the fuck down and ask more of those who are in charge, because we're asking nothing of them. Nothing. Sammy says hi. You should be seeing some pictures soon. I had a photo shoot. It was for me, but really, it was about Sammy. And he's doing good for someone who's in charge now. And I'll be hitting the road. I'm playing 2 casinos in January. Yeah, boy, really? You said you weren't. No, I said I wasn't going to be touring. Okay? If I play more than 2 or 3 shows in a month, that'll be a lot. I'd be playing much less, and I won't be playing certainly much more than 20 to 30 performances a year, for those of you who want to count. And I'll be going to Rockford, Illinois, and Gary, Indiana, two of America's hot spots. And I'm returning there because I've not been there the last go around, and they asked me to come there. And these will be interesting, because I'm just going to get on stage and talk. I'm just going to go through stuff, and I'm going to have a good time, as opposed to these rants and raves. And thank you for sending them in. And there's some great ones coming up this week, and continue to bring whatever rage you want to the page about anything. I'm here to read it for you. And it is my privilege and pleasure to be able to do that and spend time with you. And I mean that. Thanks. From Anton Kay, who's yelling about more people than just the person he's yelling about, I think. At what point did mediocrity, incompetence, and idiocy become the new normal? When someone screws up, they pass the blame to another person while twiddling their thumbs, going, oh, ho, hum. Speaking of overpaid dumbass idiots society should purge, we've got folks such as Kim Kardashian who run around thinking their shit doesn't stink. Hey, Kim, in order to experience an aneurysm, one must first have a fucking brain, you dumb shit, selfish, self-entitled, arrogant asshole. Oh, well, my apologies to the folks and kids who idolize these people. Yep, and there are a lot of them, Anton. Actually, her new, she's on a streaming show now, a fictional one by Ryan Murphy and a few others, and I can't think of the name of it, and I'm not going to look it up, but 0 on rotten apples. Got 0. 0. Let's move on. Thank you, Anton. From Richard Bailey, remember, please, this caution. The Nuremberg Trials after World War II was over, after the 80 to 100 million deaths caused by a band of Nazi psychopaths who knew what was best for Germany and for the world, were brought to justice. The Nazis, even with the greatest war machine of all time, were finally caught fleeing or hiding in closets. They were then tried, convicted, and sentenced to death. A noose or coarse rope was tightened around their necks. A trap door sprung open, and gravity had its way. It only took 1.5 feet, or maybe 2, of free fall before society and the rope had their say. It is an age-old means of teaching right from wrong. It is a method readily available, economical, time-tested, and extremely effective against would-be dictators and their enablers. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Richard. Thank you for sharing that with us. Here's one from Bernie Pena. My wife left me unattended with the shopping cart on the frozen food aisle. I was looking at the products in the freezer and noticed veggie burgers, and upon closer examination, I saw that veggie burgers come in flavors: original flavor and hamburger flavor. What the fuck does original taste like if they had to make a hamburger flavor? Maybe just like vegetables. So some of folks' favorites, maybe some asparagus, a little bit of kale, some spinach. Who the fuck knows? I'm not a veggie burger person, but I do like the Impossible Burger, but it doesn't taste like vegetables. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you very much. I'm glad your wife left you in the frozen food. Stay. Did she say stay, Bernie? I doubt it. But I'm glad it gave you time to send along your bewilderment to us. And now I'm bewildered. This comes to us from Margaret Gold. I've had this rash on my arm that wouldn't go away with over-the-counter medication, so I had to go see a doctor about it. The visit was quick. The doctor prescribed an ointment, and I was out of there in record time. Great, I thought. I'll wait a couple of hours and go get my medicine, he's called, from a certain large retail chain that also has pharmacies, and I'll go on my way. Wrong. So very wrong. I go to the drive-thru and wait behind 5 cars for my turn. They tell me it's not ready, but it will be in about 30 minutes. Okay, fine. I wait and I go back. By this time, it's 30 minutes until the pharmacy closes. I wait in line again, and they tell me we couldn't fill it. We are out of this medicine, but you can go to one of our other stores, and maybe they have it. I'm not happy at this point, and I have 11 minutes to get to the other store. I break a few traffic laws getting there, but I make it. There's no wait. I pull up to the window, give them my information, and they can't fill it today because their system takes too long. And we are closing. Okay, fine. I'll just have to get it tomorrow. This is when the little, and I mean little, patience I have breaks. They tell me they don't have the cream. They have the lotion, and that my doctor prescribed the cream. And they can't give me the lotion because that's not what my doctor prescribed. And it will be two days before they get it. What the fuck? These are the same thing. They are both absorbed through the skin. Why in God's name are there 2 versions of the same thing? Who the hell cares if it's a lotion or a cream? Does it have gold in it or something? One fucking word ruined it for me. Jesus Christ. I'm not asking for a Vicodin refill. I just want to not scratch my arm like a fucking animal. We, my friend, as you already know, are fucked with this kind of bullshit. God helps us. God helps us. God help us, Lewis, you idiot. Margaret, that was dead on. And it is ridiculous. And it's nonsense. And I don't quite understand it. I don't know how our system works in terms of our medicine, but it's insane. And a lot of the stuff and it probably should be an over-the-counter medicine, especially if it stops itchies. All right. This is from Ron Calhoun. I've read one by him before. Apologies for pounding you with my rants, but as I've stated in the past, it has become a form of therapy for me. Glad to be of help. And the pace of outrageous shit coming over the transom is forcing me to respond by writing. Otherwise, I fear that my head will explode. Ron Calhoun, rant number 13, sent the day before Halloween. The politics of hunger. So here we are, powerless bystanders, watching our elected officials wedge between the horns of an inhumane dilemma, forced to choose between either letting 22 million Americans lose their Affordable Care Act premium subsidies, forcing approximately 4.8 to 5 million to become uninsured, or allowing 42 million Americans to stop receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP benefits, approximately 79% of which are children, elderly, and adults with disabilities. This is not the result of some cataclysmic natural disaster or economic crisis. Like the proverbial Morton's fork, this is completely man-made, an unforced, perverted choice. In previous government shutdowns, contingency funds have been deployed to ensure that these critical benefits are not interrupted. That is clearly an option that could easily be exercised, yet the current administration has made a conscious decision not to deploy these funds. So here's the irony. In August of 2024, the independent data analytics firm Social Explorer conducted a study which tracked increases in SNAP recipients by county between 2010 and 2020. There are 3,144 counties in our 50 states in D.C. Of the 3,131 counties analyzed in this study, 2,021 reported an increase in households receiving SNAP benefits. A whopping 78.7% of these counties went with Trump in the 2020 presidential election. While the study has not yet been expanded to incorporate the 2024 election percentages, the number of SNAP recipients in states that went with Trump in the 2024 election is estimated to be 19,057,750 recipients. Recipients! God, Lewis. I'm sorry there, Ron, but... or approximately 42% of all SNAP recipients. 42% of them. Weaponizing the military, ICE, and the DOJ is bad enough. These efforts are a direct threat to our democratic way of life. But weaponizing food? Unbelievable. But a reality that needs to be fully recognized, as painful as it is to our collective psyche. We must face this horror and recognize it for what it is. Not hide from it or look for the next distraction, of which there are so many, Ron. Red or blue, these are our fellow citizens. There's general consensus among religious scholars that the Old and New Testaments contain over 2,000 verses referencing the care of the poor and an undeniable expectation of believers in the faith. An argument I repeatedly hear is a disdain for big government directing taxpayer dollars into these giveaway programs, that these programs somehow create a disincentive to work, and that the private sector and religious organizations should be the entities funding these programs. If the private sector and religious organizations can close this $100 billion gap by the end of the year, or even by the end of 2026, I will gladly shut up. As I've referenced before, all of this is playing out against the following backdrops. An April 2025 Pew Research Center survey revealed that an estimated 72% of white evangelicals say they approve of how Trump is handling his job as president. I'm looking forward to the next survey. It will be telling. Thank you, Ron. I hope those of you out there were able to follow all those numbers. I hope I made it clear enough. Geez. Wow. $100 billion gap. Disincentivizing work, Ron. I mean, it's always been bullshit. Most of these people want the job. Most of them want the job. Stop making shit up. There's a group of people who don't. They're all over the world. Some of them, and I've said this before, are your cousins. Okay? That's true. But no, it's not so many that you are disincentivizing all these people. Stop it. Please. God. 1 out of every 8, assholes, 1 out of every 8 has food anxiety or hunger. I repeat, hunger. It's not anxiousness. If they were anxious, they'd buy cigarettes. Fucking idiots. But just, all right. Sorry to step on your thing there at the end, Ron, but it set me off. It's just crazy. This comes to us from Jay Whistlinghole, and thank you, Jay. Hey, Lou, long-time fan, first-time ranter. I know you get a lot of these, but I just have to get a couple of things off my chest, and I'm glad you are, Jay. I remember it wasn't too terribly long ago that a salary of $60K was decent money. Boy, oh, fucking boy, do I long for those days. Nothing makes me happier than working 10 to 12 hours a day for sometimes, 6 days a week so that my boss can buy a new fucking Bentley while I'm searching my Honda for enough change to buy a goddamn pack of ramen for lunch. What the hell happened to living paycheck to paycheck? I get paid on Friday and I'm broke by the following Tuesday, and that's in the lower cost of living area of Indy fucking Anna. This cock gobbler of a governor and impotent limp-dicked legislature, despite having a GOP supermajority in both chambers and not one Democratic state officer, sure find a way to blame the Democrats for everything wrong and refuse to do anything, as shocking as I'm sure that is. They just laugh their way to the bank while the inbred losers here cheer them on. Don't get me started on the education system here, where school choice allows most tax dollars to go to private schools, while the public schools get fucked in the ass harder than a fucking donkey show. Anyway, thanks for letting me blow off steam and keep up the great work. I don't know how great it is as I stumbled through some of the words. I didn't use your real name. I hope James Whistlinghole wasn't your real name. Thanks for sharing, Jay. I don't need your real name. I just needed you to yell and scream a little. And you yelled and screamed about something that's obviously very important. I'm going to Indiana tomorrow. That's right. And if you get the chance, a little hope can be found, Jay, if that is your real name, and I don't think so. Head on down to Indianapolis if you're near there, and see the Kurt Vonnegut Museum and Library. Well worth your time. Well worth your time. And give you some hope. From Richard Bailey. I read a number of the ones that Richard sent in, a number of rants. I picked this one, Richard. I hope it's one that you preferred. Traitor may do a measure of justice for some second-class specimens of excrement. such as Benedict Arnold, Tokyo Rose, or even Axis Salad. But the evil of greed beyond belief, and for the cowardice of our richest citizens, Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Musk, require the invention of a Shakespeare. We need some more biting sobriquet, reeking of their common sins. The living turd, the hash marks on the hobo underpants, the backstabber of the motherland that nurtured them with education, opportunity, wealth, and finally, with the greatest of all gifts, democracy. This they would steal from their own countrymen. This they would lock away in their coffers like the dragon in his caves of Mordor. They have wealth beyond counting, and yet they cower. They grovel on hands and knees. They stand only when told to, smiling for photos, each elbowing the other as they try to secure a finger hold on the padlock locking the slatted door of the cattle car, hauling our freedoms and rule of law to places we have seen many times before, and whose names shame all human history. Auschwitz, Dachau, shame on the human race. Bergen-Belsen, shame on the human race. The Gulag, the slave ports of West Africa, shame on the gods. Shame on those who applaud this salute to hate by the monster Musk. Let us preface their names with a curse and profane their pride and greed with knowledge that generations will remember them. Let us plant the seeds of their ugliness and treachery in gardens for the future generations to look upon with disgust, a proper place to spit. Let their names and deeds be added to the Pledge of Allegiance. Let them wallow in infamy for 1,000 years. I pledge allegiance to an America where humanity, liberty, and justice for all are the true signs of patriotism, where the lies, the greed, and the racial hatred of a few, the pus of Trumps, the cancer of Bezos, the pox of Musks, have no place among good men and women who value truth and integrity and the principles of our founding fathers. I pledge allegiance to a great nation where liars and cheats hide their faces and honesty is the most amazing of graces. Well, Richard, you certainly took off there, and the comparisons now with, wow. Shaming us all, let the naming begin. A gangrene of Republicans. Wow, he goes on. A pus of Trumps, a cancer of Bezos, a leprosy of Zuckerbergs, a pox of Musks. Whew. Wow. Okay. Well, Richard, I shared it. I hope it helped you. I hope it helps some of the others. Wow. It is kind of extraordinary what's going on. Wow. Glad you could get it off your chest. Paul Elmore, this is, I enjoyed this immensely, Paul. Having been a teenager in the 70s, I really enjoyed the music of that era. Alas, current news stories of the musicians from that period most often will be found in the obituaries. So to get my nostalgia fix, I've taken to attending concerts of tribute bands. So the music is usually okay, and the band members don't have to use an accessibility ramp to get on the stage. But even the tribute bands are getting a bit full of themselves. Case in point, having a warm-up group. What the fuck? You are a warm-up group. The fact that I'm seeing them for free in a city park should give them a clue. And when they embellish a classic rock song, poof, it never goes well. Music that has stayed popular for 50 years should be reason enough not to fuck with it. The biggest bullshit that some of these tribute bands try and pull off is leaving the stage and wanting to be applauded back for an encore to play the classic rock band's biggest hit. Think Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody or Eagles' Hotel California. Just announce it's the last song and play it as well as you can. Otherwise, I won't be applauding to get you back on stage. I'll be screaming, "Get your sorry asses out here and play the fucking song." Save the prima donna bullshit for when you have an original record that charts in the top 100. Pfft, assholes. Paul Elmore, writing this from beautiful Olympia, Washington. Even if you're somewhere nice, there's something that pisses you off. I really got a kick out of that. I don't go to see those tribute bands. There's one, the Grateful Dead have one that I saw them play because my road manager, Ben, gets a kick out of this Grateful Dead tribute band. They're good, I have to say. This is from Justina Dismang. Louis, I'm 40 years old and have been active in politics since I was in the third grade. This nonsense we have going on now is unbelievable. But that's not my rant. I find myself asking, what the hell? My husband, who's very hardworking and a blue-collar man to his bones, has MS, diagnosed in 2017. I'm sorry about that. I have a friend who, well, first they said it was. And since then, the dance I have to do for the insurance every goddamn year is fucking phenomenal. He's required to have a damned MRI every year, and they act like it's a fucking surprise every time. And when it's time to get a new authorization for his expensive medication, he needs to live. Oh my God, this is a man that never had anything wrong before this, and they act like it's a crime, like we're fucking criminals, just to get what we need to live, so we don't lose every goddamn thing we have. It's so unfair and really just unbelievable that this is what I spend my time doing, a lot of the time. Sorry for bothering you. It's not a bother, please. No, thank you. You don't have to thank me. Thank you, Justina. And I'm sorry you have to go through this, and I'm sorry they make this all nonsense and fucking bullshit. And I'm sorry for the lighting in this room, too. But I'm really, I hope, there's just, it's madness. It's really madness. It's the people who have to do it. Well, I was just following orders. That's what they told me so I can keep my job. I have to tell you this. And the people who have to tell you this wouldn't find it acceptable if it was done to them because they don't have the money to deal with the problems either. Just to live. Wow. Tom Marshall. I am a 64-year-old man. Like those my age, I'm the luckiest man alive to have been graced to wear a mask attached to a CPap machine. Honestly, I'm used to wearing it for the last 25 years. I normally don't notice it. My new machine, the fourth one, is a piece of shit. Oh, sure, my doctor can track my sleep. This thing is so fucking good at its job that it swiftly sucks in air through a paper cut of a filter. Yeah, it might be a high-tech filter that keeps particles at bay. Yeah, that's a good boy filter. I get gassy sometimes during my slumber, curled up under the covers with the whisper noise of high-tech air finds its way to a trusting nose. That piece of shit, that sliver of a filter does not stop methane gas once gathering inside my ass. Nope, that gas goes past the filter, into the machine, down the hose, into the mask, and into an inhale of a mixture of forced air and a garbage can filled with rotting garbage that's been sitting in the hot summer sun. In case you're wondering, yes, this event wakes me up. I hope that rant helps you sleep at night. I really do. And I thank you for sharing it. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Louis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me, Louis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.